Facebook. Facebook.
I'm not gonna do Facebook boom. I think with the Facebook we'll just do the whole session.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we don't have enough time. We were crunched. All right, guys, we're back and we are live, coming straight at you. I'm your boy D'Anthony, and my boy Adon, and my boy C-Jack, and it is Halloween, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
I got my Doctor Strange and Pickle Rick over here.
Yeah.
I like to say Pickle Pete. Pickle Pete. Just sounds better to me. I don't know, but so like many of you, I would hopefully most of you. You binge watched Stranger Things this weekend. I know I did.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't, you probably don't even want to be on here. You want to go ahead and spend that time actually watching the doggone show.
Yeah, there might be some spoilers.
Right. So it has been I want to say a fan favorite of Netflix. I think it's one of the Netflix top grossing show. So if you haven't been in it, you need to go ahead and start from season 1. And go ahead and hit press play and then just enjoy yourself, okay? Okay. So Stranger Things, it if you don't know, it is pretty much a Breakfast Club, but with supernatural things going on. It's hard to look at you.
It's definitely.
Yes, they're having a hard time.
Yeah, I just want to laugh.
With a supernatural spin to it.
Right.
So it's going to be something that's going to be heartfelt. It's going to be emotionally pulling, I want to say.
Yes.
Roller coasters, high and lows.
So many elements to it.
Definitely. So we got a great cast of children actors, and really that's been what has been impressing me the most. It's these children actors. I'm like,
a lot of these movies, yeah.
Where are they finding these kids at?
Crazy kids.
Right.
We got Millie Bobby Brown as 11. We got Gaten Matazzaro as Dustin. We got Finn Wolfhard as Mike. And we got Caleb McFallon as Lucas. McLaughlin. And then we got some new characters that have really impressed me.
It was a good casting.
We got, I'm going to say Darcy Montgomery.
Okay.
Montgomery?
As Billy.
The Red Ranger and the new Power Rangers movie.
Yes. And that is what I was surprised. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then we got Sadie Sink as Max.
Mad Max.
And I thought they did really good. And we got Sean Astin and Lene Berthelsen. Sorry, I'm really bad with names. As number 8 versus, as I guess contrasts are number 11.
Right.
I thought that they all did a really good job. I thought it was a very good addition to the cast.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that it was like a perfect addition, actually. And it wasn't too much. It didn't really make no one outshined any of it. They all just kind of I guess reflected or
there was a really
complimented each other.
Yeah,
very good screen time for all of them.
I'm just going with what I thought, and we can just go around with what we all thought, guys. So for me, I did enjoy it. I am on record saying I didn't like the first season, except for the last 2 episodes. But this season, I really enjoyed it. I was able to just sit down and watch it and just kind of man, I can't wait till the next episode. So to me, the character growth, the plot was a lot better than in the first one. I enjoyed the acting. I was just baffled by how do you grab this stuff out of these kids? How do you get them to do the things that they're doing? Because it's just awesome. I thought that the cinematography was great. I thought the storyline was great. I just enjoyed it. I don't really have much that I would say. There were some things that I didn't really like, but not enough to where I'm just I don't like this season. I thought they did a really good job. Netflix, I would give you a thumbs up on that one for sure. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, talk about one of my favorite shows now. It's I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. Watching the first season, I thought it was great, but they really outdid themselves with this one. The character growth and watching all these kids actually grow up, it's you can see that they're all getting taller. They're all growing up, and just the dynamic between all the kids, their acting skills, it was just phenomenal. Just seeing them on screen and running around, and it was awesome. The storyline was really great. I like where they took this season versus the season before. It was just awesome, and I don't feel like it was rushed at all either. Once it was over, I felt like really satisfied, and even well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just want to see a third season basically, and I can't imagine how they're going to outdo themselves with this one. But awesome.
What are you thinking?
I was such a happy person watching this from episode 1 leading all the way up. It was such a fun film. It was cool to kind of see these kids because I definitely grew up like that. I had the friends, we rode our bikes everywhere, we went to arcades, we went to comic books, and was definitely the outcast when it came to being the nerd with the comics. And I'm a frickin' pickle.
Yes, you are.
And the story just was very compelling. The music again was wonderful. The characters brought in, they made me hate characters, they made me love characters. There were a lot of feels through this entire season. And I mean, it's getting a 5 out of 5 for me, 100%. I loved the first season, and I didn't think that they could make a better second season than they did. So that's just amazing. Like usually, it's not a doubt, but it's usually it kind of comes with the rule of 3. Usually, when they do trilogies or they have the seasons going, like the seasons, like the first one's amazing, and they're like, oh, we have to force the second one down the throat, so they're gonna force more budget and say do all this, and they're like, no, we're gonna stick with our basics. We're gonna still what we did, and we're gonna make another second amazing season. So I was very, very happy with this.
Awesome. So it's been a year since the first season. How were you guys thinking? What did you think about the character development? I definitely saw some changes in all of them. And at first I didn't like it. Like Dustin's change, he's kind of like a little bit of a bully. He's like talking and I guess clowning other people. I almost didn't like that, but you know what? When you experience something like supernatural like they did, it definitely could change you. What do you guys think about the actual character development? Was it something that, kind of changed who those characters were? Or was it like a necessary change?
I think after going through all the traumatic experiences that they all went through, they became a little bit more of a tighter unit. They were able to talk more about each other. But the only thing that I thought kind of bothered me was Will's character, because there was a lot of stuff happening with Will. And, he was the one that was lost for most of the first season and a lot of stuff that he went through. And he was still going through it. And he just wasn't talking about it. He was just saying, oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's nothing. But like when you and your friends already know about like kind of like the same stuff, it's like you just say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at some trippy stuff and I'm having nightmares during the day, while I'm awake. And he didn't do that, he didn't help them, give them a heads up,
But he still could be embarrassed though.
Well, I think they kind of made a statement with the medical thing. Like I actually got in a little bit of a conversation with somebody and how when you go to see the doctor and they tell you that something's wrong with your kid, they always tell you, oh, you're just being a kid, you're having, dreams, and that's exactly what happened. The doctors led him to believe that, he was A compared to B and didn't actually listen to the kid.
Or post-traumatic stress when it was like supernatural.
Yeah, and so I mean that point, Will, as a kid, you're thinking, okay, well the doctor told me, the professional told me that, hey, I don't have these problems, they're just bad dreams, and I'm really okay. So at that point, you kind of end up in this catch-22 of, is what I'm feeling real, or is it just an illusion? But Will knows it's not an illusion, so I think it's almost he's just trying to convince himself that it's not. So being in denial allows him to not be taken in by the upside down again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my excuse for it. It was a little irritating, but
it was irritating because like
he's a kid. I mean, you don't really know what.
They keep, like each one of them actually, like they keep bringing up the same like rules, like we're friends and friends don't lie, and each one of them was holding back something, Eleven was holding back. Dustin was holding back when he found the little creature and wasn't telling them. And,
D'Artagnan.
11 was holding back. Damn.
Mike was holding back.
That's a good point. They did, but you know what?
Each one of them held back a little bit.
Sometimes you want to be a particular thing, but you don't always live up to it.
Right.
They didn't really have bad intentions.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. I do get what you're saying. I did notice that now that you bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
So we all agree this is better than the first season.
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
I would
love
say
them
better than
both
the first
equally
season.
with a big pickle heart.
What? Equally? Man, I don't see it. I I don't know. It was so much more going on, as far as like, we got the love interest again, like a real love interest.
Yeah.
We got the mom more involved. We got the sheriff. He's, you actually saw like a soft side to the sheriff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw more in the characters than I did in the first one. So I'm gonna say it was definitely
It's great.
definitely
Development.
better.
Yeah.
For the new characters, who was your favorite?
For the new characters,
The new characters.
I honestly did like Sean Astin's character as like kind of like the dad. Like he's like he's the boyfriend of the mom,
Joyce.
Joyce. Yeah, and he's just kind of like goofy, and he tries to help out, but I did appreciate his character for a little bit that he was.
He was such
I
a
was
punk.
I was really sad because like the moment they introduced him, I was so happy to see him in there because one of the things that was said about the show was it's like Goonies meets E.T. meets Aliens, and to see a Goonie show up in this, I was like, ah!
Yeah.
I was nerding out like crazy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very appropriate for
Yeah.
him to be in it.
Yeah, I loved him in the trailer. I was like, oh, Samwise! Samwise in there!
Yeah, yeah.
I was definitely digging it.
The sad part was immediately when he came into the series and I got to meet this character, I'm like, he's gonna die later. Maybe, I don't know. I hope not.
There's a
Like, I was so
possibility.
scared that maybe.
I didn't like that she wasn't really into him. She was more into the sheriff more.
They did show that like different
And
dynamic.
I'm like, well, you should just been with the sheriff. Don't just like drag this person along thinking you guys are gonna be together.
Right, right.
So I don't know. My favorite, I thought was Billy. I thought Billy.
I'm with you. I actually was gonna say the same thing.
Because he was like a better version of Will. Not is it Will's brother? No.
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I thought Steve in the first season was kind of like, I don't know, he's not believable. But this guy,
He's a
Billy,
true bully.
true bully,
True bully.
true antagonist.
He was a bully's bully.
Right, and it was just believable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, that's the guy that's gonna definitely hate you. And he had like a little racial tone here.
Oh, he definitely
Oh,
did. Yeah,
oh,
that,
yeah.
Like, so she can't hang out with the black kid?
Yeah.
The only
I was
black kid in town.
like, Derek should call that out
They're
real
about
quick.
to.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn this off, okay? I'm like, he's the only one black kid. You don't pick on him? Leave him alone.
Yeah.
But I guess that is kind of reality because I grew up in a town like that, and it was kind of racist like that. But I don't know. But I did like him though.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great.
He's a guy that you love to hate because it's like, I mean, I significantly just did not like the character. I liked him, but it's just like, I'm like, damn,
He portrayed it really well.
Yeah, like, so that first time when Steve walks in and he does a cake stand, and they go in, he gives Steve that look. I'm like, I never usually just want to punch someone in the face, but I legitimately just want to punch this guy in the face.
He was good.
And his sister, Mad Max.
I loved her. Great.
Both of them, they were excellent.
Oh,
excellent additions to this.
I don't know. There was some parts about her I didn't think was realistic. Like for her to want to be in their crew so bad, even though they were treating her so bad. I'm like, I think she would have left because she's like, come on guys, let me in. Can I come in now? And just like her personality, I think she was been like, you know what, F this. I mean, she ended up doing that, but I think she would have did it a lot sooner.
Yeah, it's different, like she doesn't have any friends, and then she has this bully of a brother as a friend. So.
All right, so those are our picks as far as of the new additions. So what was a highlight for you guys?
Man, there's so much to choose from. I mean, as far as like. The highlight of it for me was actually seeing that there was like this like other like dimension, there's this like huge being, it's like how vast this upside down was, and that there's just like this bigger thing than just the regular demigorgons that we got last season and these little ones from this season. That blew me away. I didn't think it was going to be like that huge. Like we got like a legit portal to this other dimension, and I wasn't expecting that.
What do you think?
It took me a little while to think about it. I'm thinking about as you're going on. I think the biggest thing for me was the one thing that truly carried on from the last season, and you got to see a really big difference between this character, but Mike and Elle. When you get through this series, like you're realizing that if you really look at all the relationships in this entire series, theirs is the only one that truly stays honest. And I think that's one thing I really liked about it. And that's the highlight for me. And when you get towards the end of the series, like you kind of get the capitalization on that and the closing of that chapter, and I really appreciated that overall, because those two shouldn't be feeling what they're feeling at the age they are, but the fact that they are is just truly significant.
I think the highlights for me were not Mike, Will. Will's performance whenever he was crying was a highlight for me, because I like emotions. If I'm not seeing any emotions, I don't care about it. And to me, I was able to empathize with this kid, like when he's talking to his mom about the dreams that he's having, and he tears up, or when they tie him up and he's like, let me go. I'm like, oh my, you better let that dude go.
Right.
Like it was to me was the highlight of the show. Of course, we got the Demogorgon or the Demodogs, and then he got possessed. I mean, those are great, scenes, but I just think that for me, what moved me, like, oh snap,
when he
was his emotions that he.
I just want my kid to catch a break, man. I feel so bad for him. Like
he really shined throughout this season. Like they really put him like the forefront of everything. He just keeps putting through this hell. It's just like
Do you guys have a low point?
That's a good question.
I'll go because I already know.
Okay, go ahead.
It was really hard for me. Let's see here.
Nice emoji. No, it's.
I don't.
Go ahead. Time.
Mine was the hive mind. You guys know from past what's it called? Past movie reviews. I am not a fan of the hive mind.
Star Trek.
Any circumstances, Star Trek, or Independence Day. Like I hate that hive mind mentality.
Yeah.
However, Stranger Things almost did it in the right way for me to not be so pissed about it. Like it's like the hive mind characteristic. Me and you were talking about this earlier, but it was almost like they weren't really hive. They were still independent, but they were just soldiers. They were given an order and they execute order. They just weren't mindless. Like they still did their own significance. So at that point, like I feel like they actually approached the hive mind on a hierarchy that I could appreciate. But at the same time, I was like, why'd you do the hive thing? Everyone does the hive thing. So that was it for me.
You know what? I think it goes back to like what was the highlight of it for me, because like when I saw that they had like this huge portal and everything was done so tactically. We got one group of kids, trying to like destroy like this branch, set stuff on fire.
We ran out of time.
It's got to be that hive mind for it. I mean, it was a cop out.
All right, so for me was the mom telling 11 to go find her sister, or her assuming her mom meant to go find her sister, and then it didn't actually drive the story at all with her going to leave, because she just ended up right back to where she was. She's like, oh, I should have never left.
Yeah.
All right, so your mom was wrong? So we finally get introduced to your mom, she's just wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It was just kind of weird to me. That was kind of like the downside, because I don't like to see things that are more like filler, and that episode kind of felt like a filler episode. It was kind of cool.
I think it was a setup.
It was more
think
setup.
About it. We have 11 and we have 8. So I mean, that means.
But I would want to see her more. I want her to be more involved in the actual story.
I actually really liked that girl's character. Like I really liked her. I'm like, oh my god, are you guys building a superhero universe? Because this is going down. Like, because I could see stuff going that way already, and that would be awesome.
Definitely. So that's our review, guys, of the Stranger Things. We all liked it. We all love the new additions. We all want a season 3. Don't know what they would do, because we already had this big, large entity.
Yeah.
But maybe we're just going to go into the world and meet the actual king or something. I don't know.
Turns out it's kaiju.
Right. Right. So that's our review. I'm your boy, D'Anthony.
Hold on.
I'm Pickle Rick today.
Doctor Strange.
And we are Breaker and Blitz. If we made you like it any time in this video, you're going to have to hit that like button. If we made you smile any time in this video, hit that like button. If we made you think, go ahead and comment. And if you just want to see us all the time, go ahead and hit that subscription button with that notification. And we're out, baby. Peace. Look at these guys.
Spirit fingers.